my response was, I haven't even started yet. When I finally began, I had no idea, how do you even start? Where do you begin? Who do you thank? And quite frankly, considering the circumstances, who am I going to be saying it to and in front of? What can I say in 15 minutes that can cover my entire career? You want to say something meaningful, impactful, and memorable. Finally, I just said, stop overthinking it, man, and just write down how you feel. So let me start by saying congratulations. Congratulations to Larry, Ted, and the late Marvin Miller. I mean, I'm so honored to be inducted with you guys and link to you forever. Major League Baseball Hall of Fame class of 2020. Congrats to the award winners, Nick Cafardo, Dick Cagle, Ken Harrelson, Al Michael, and David Montgomery. Thank you to Jane Forbes Clark, Jeff Idelson, John Whitney, and the entire Hall of Fame staff for, amongst other things, your ability to maneuver and adjust. Thank you to the baseball writers, all but one of you who voted for them. Everyone who covered me during my career, the beat writers, the columnists, TV and radio, and a special thank you to the Hall of Famers. Those that are here with us today, the ones that couldn't make it, the men I played with, played against, for, and looked up to and admired. When the induction ceremony was canceled, and then later it was postponed, everyone told me, don't worry about it, it's going to happen eventually, and it's going to feel the same. You were right, but I do want to point out one thing. As you saw earlier, the Hall of Fame is special because of those who are in it, and we've lost way too many Hall of Famers over the last 20 months, and these are all Hall of Famers that would have or could have been here, and selfishly for that reason, it's not the same. Because when everyone asks about nerves, they assume it's because of a speech, what I may say or not say, the number of people in attendance or watching at home. No. The nerves are because these guys behind me right now, and all of those that are a part of the Hall of Fame family. Because the great thing about baseball is its history, and that's what makes it so special. I want to share two quick stories, two special moments I had with the Hall of Fame family early on in my career. The first was in 1996. After we won the World Series, I was attending the the New York chapter of the Baseball Writers Dinner in New York, and I was seated on the dais next to someone I had never met before. And we sat there for roughly 3 hours. And if I'm going to be honest with you, I can't recall any details of our conversation, but I do know it was a time that I'll always cherish. Because when you talk about class and you talk about elegance, this person was and still is the epitome of it. The fact that she even knew who I was and was willing to listen to what I had to say made me feel like I was the most special person in the world. That person was Mrs. Rachel Robinson. The second moment was in 1999 when I was at the All-Star game in Boston. Pre-game, they were honoring the All-Century players. So all the players past and present were gathering around Ted Williams so he could throw out the first pitch. And I sort of just hovered around the back because, quite frankly, I was in awe and I didn't want to get in the way. I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned around and someone told me, I wanted to meet you. And I said, you wanted to meet me? That was the very first time I met the great Hank Aaron. Now, you might wonder what's the reason I bring these moments up. It's because these two moments in particular is when I realized that it's more than a game in just a sense. The greatest people and players in this game, the Hall of Fame family, they're watching. So I wanted their approval. During my career, I wanted to make Mrs. Robinson proud. I wanted to make Hank Aaron proud. I wanted to make all you behind me proud. Not of statistics, proud of how I played the game, how I carried myself, and how I respected the game and those before and after. So, I guess the relevant question is, how did I get on the dais next to Mrs. Robinson and on the field at Fenway Park with Hank Aaron and ultimately, on this stage? I'm on the stage as a result of many others. I'm on the stage as a result of the support and love of countless people. But for me, the love of the game and the success I had playing it starts and ends with family. I was first introduced to competition in the game of baseball by my dad. I vividly remember going to watch him play shortstop for his corporate softball team. And I don't think I ever told him this, but I was amazed at how good he was. And how he stood out in front of everyone else, above everyone else. He was my first idol, wanting and watching and wanting to be my dad. Him sitting me down afterwards and educating me, about the history of the game, how to play, and more importantly, how to win. And then afterwards, he'd pull out and show me, his scrapbook from college to prove to me he knew what he was talking about. Now, there's a lot of people listening, so I'm not going to divulge how many pages you had in your scrapbook here today. I fell in love with the Yankees. I was watching games in the summer with my grandmother, Dorothy Knox, who's here today, in West Milford, New Jersey. I played wiffle ball in her yard in full Yankee pinstripes, pretending to be Dave Winfield. And I'd break a window occasionally, and she'd be all right with it. And at the same time, I learned the importance of going to work every single day and doing your job no matter what, from my grandfather, William Sonny Connors. When I got a little older, we used to jump the fence of our house in Michigan, and I walked to the baseball fields, Kalamazoo Central High School, and we practiced as a family. My dad pitched, my mom and my sister Charlie shagging in the outfield, and then we'd go and do the same thing for her on the softball field. That was fun for us. It's what we enjoyed. It's how we bonded as a family, and quite frankly, it's how I got better. But, it was more than just practice. It was the lessons that my parents taught me. Mom, you taught me any dream is attainable as long as you work harder than anyone else. You drilled that in my head over and over and over, and you led me to believe it. You told me never to make excuses. You wouldn't allow me to use the word can. You show up to work, you stay positive, good things will happen, and ultimately it's going to rub off on other people. Dad, you've been the voice of reason. You taught me to be patient, listen and think before I speak. You've always been there for advice, and to this day, you're the first person I go to. I know when I retired, you said you played every game with me. And I know you recall, from time to time telling me, you keep building that resume, right? And look where it's gotten us today. Both of you convinced me I could achieve absolutely anything, if I set my mind to it, if it meant more to me than anyone else. It taught me to prove people wrong. And to this day, I remember every time I was doubted. I made and I still make a mental note. So I was and I'm going to prove doubters wrong. It's what drove me and it still drives me today. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for making me who I am. My sister Charlotte, I missed you growing up because I was away starting my professional career. But, we've continued to get closer and closer over the years. You're a fighter, you're independent, you're supportive, you're stubborn, like me at times. But I'll tell you one thing, you always look out for and you have your brother's back. And I've watched you become an unbelievable mother to Jalen. And I love you, I couldn't be more proud of you and the woman you've become. Ultimately, it boils down to you have a dream, you believe in that dream, you surround yourself with people who are going to encourage you, support you, challenge you, be honest with you, and help nurture that dream. It started with my family, but it included so many more. It's literally impossible for me to name everyone in a short period of time, and I'll reach out to others privately. However, there are a few I want to mention quickly. Those who taught me how to be a professional and helped me get here today. Dick Groach, the scout who first saw me. I know you're watching at home, Dick. I honestly don't know what you saw in a skinny shortstop from Kalamazoo, but you actually foreshadowed this moment, and thank you so much because that's where it all started. Special front office members, managers, coaches, trainers, sports staff of the Yankees, Gene Michael, Bob Watson, Brian Cashman, Bill Livesey, Mitch Lukowitz, Mark Newman, Don Zimmer, Willie Randolph, Will, I see you, Reggie Jackson, we were just talking about this morning, but every time Reggie would come spend time with the team, I call him over to my locker and I say, hey, Reg, sit down, what you got for me today? And then we'd go back and forth and I'd get on him. And Reg, you remember your response? The response was, you're not a Hall of Famer yet. So I guess I can get on you now, huh? Gary Dembo, Brian Butterfield, you two are the most responsible for my development as a player, man. There was times when I thought I made a huge mistake turning professional because I was completely overmatched. And you guys helped me restore my confidence. It was through fundamentals and repetition. And I owe you so much. My trainers, Gene Monahan, Steve Donahue, I see you here. I just want to apologize, man. I'm sorry I lied to you for all those years, but it was my responsibility to go out there and play every day. My managers, Buck Showalter, Joe Girardi, and especially Mr. T. And Mr. T, thanks for taking a chance on me and trusting me at such a young age, or at least making me think you trust me. My teammates, my brothers, man, I was blessed to play alongside some of the best to ever play the game. Some who are in the Hall of Fame, some behind me right now. I especially want to point out Gerald Williams, Jorge Posada, Mariano, Andy, Bernie, Tino, Cece, Hideki. I mean, you guys in particular were special to me because I never had to worry about what your number one priority was, and that was winning. My agent, Casey Close. Case, man, thanks for all your guidance through my career, man. And still to this day, we've been through it all. At least we thought we've been through it all, right? Something always comes up, but, there's so much more yet to come. The boss, Mr. Steinbrenner, and the entire Steinbrenner family, Joan, Hank, Hal, Jenny, and Jessica. And thank you for always making me feel like I was a part of your family. And throughout my playing career, more importantly, beyond, there hasn't been a day when you guys haven't made us feel like, my entire family made us feel like we were part of your family. Being able to play parts of 23 seasons with one organization, it's the only organization I ever wanted to play for, was because of the boss, because of the family. Everyone mentions how difficult it is to play in New York, and especially for the Yankees. The boss, he'd push you, he'd challenge you. At times, he'd publicly embarrass you. But you know what? He did it to bring out the best in you. He wanted to know if I had what it took to play for and ultimately lead the Yankees. I was able to have success because we had a shared mindset. The only thing that mattered was winning. And I had one goal during my career, and that was to win more than everyone else. We did.
Yeah, you did.
Which brings me to the Yankee fans. Well, there was only one thing in my life I wanted to be, and that was a shortstop for the New York Yankees. And now I'm a Yankee forever. And without question, you helped me get here today as much as any individual I've mentioned. You can't be fooled. You're passionate, you're loyal, knowledgeable, vocal, challenging, and supporting. There's a huge responsibility that comes with wearing a Yankee uniform. Just because you have it on doesn't guarantee you anything. You have to earn it. You demanded I earned it. Every single day, whether it's during the season or in the off season, I felt as though I was representing you and I was representing all of New York. I did that in the best possible way I knew how. And I wanted to prove to you I belong, and you kept pushing me to prove it over and over again. I was always most comfortable on the field, especially at Yankee Stadium, playing in front of you. And I wanted you to be able to count on me. To this day, especially right now in this moment, I still represent you. And it's been one of the greatest honors of my life. My girls, Annabelle and Story. This day puts an exclamation point on my playing career, which was my first dream. Through you all, with you all, I'm living another one. Anna, you thought you married into retirement. It didn't take long for me to get back at it, but I know you didn't envision that part, but we've been through so much over the past 5 years. You're the strongest person I know, which I'm sure you're going to say is required when dealing with me. You're thoughtful, you're caring, you've been an incredible wife and even more amazing mother. And I couldn't be luckier. Let me say it again, let me clarify. I couldn't be luckier that our paths crossed when they did. I love you so much. And, there's been nothing more fulfilling in my life than building our future and our family together. During my career, I always wanted to make my family proud. I never wanted to disappoint them. Let me stress, I always wanted to. I don't know if I was always successful, but I wanted to. Bella and Story, I want you to know that your dad was far from perfect. I made my fair share of mistakes on and off the field, but through it all, I tried to do the right thing. And I found something I was passionate about, and I worked harder than anyone else. I didn't take any shortcuts to achieve it. I have zero regrets in my career, other than the fact that I didn't get a chance to share it with you. But what I will share is my story. Most of it won't be what I accomplished on the field. It'll be the lessons I learned off of it. I hope I always make you proud. Proud of because of who I am as a result of the people I mentioned and the experiences I've had with them. For so many years, I tried my best to represent New York and the Yankee organization in the best light possible. Now I represent you. You have your futures ahead of you. I want you to dream big, and I want you to believe it. Know that I'm here to support you, guide you, protect you. Most important, I'm here to love you. In time, I want you to find someone that inspires you, and then when the time is right, I want you to inspire others. I love you girls more than you ever know. Finally, I want to conclude with a message to the players in Major League Baseball right now and the young kids who may be starting out with a dream just like I have. This is a game that requires sacrifice, dedication, discipline, and focus. It's a game of failure. It teaches you teamwork. It teaches you humility. The one common thread with all of us here on stage is that we understand that there's no one individual bigger than the game. The game goes on, and it goes on because of the great fans we have. So take care of it, protect it, respect it. Don't take the time you have to play for granted. And remember the most important thing, like I said earlier, it's more than just a game. The greatest to ever play in the Hall of Fame family, they're all watching. And I personally can't wait to welcome a few of you on this very stage, just as I have been by so many others. So thank you all once again. It's been a hell of a ride.
Joining us on this wonderful afternoon. Our 4 new plaques will be hung in the Hall of Fame gallery within the next few hours, and we hope
there you
have
have
a
it,
chance
folks.
to stop by and see them. And we look forward
Derek
to
Jeter's
seeing you
speech
back here
at the
next
induction
Memorial Day
ceremony.
weekend
Bob,
for
looks like you had a better view.
Somewhat. It was really good. His speech was good. Larry Walker's was the best, though. He made everybody laugh, and it was really, really great. He was always a great player, and I'm glad for him and his family, and and Jeter was Jeter. He's amazing, And I like Ted Simmons too when they talked about him, because Ted was he was a rock. He was a great player for a long time, and he deserved every step of it. Marvin Miller, I don't think he would have talked as long as this guy did, but he did a lot for the game, and it was great.
So overall, how would you rate the ceremony?
Minus the executive, awesome. The executive one. Actually, you know what I think they should do? They should give the executives a different time and space, and don't do it with the players. That's definitely what I think. Because that, it just kind of puts these fans here, they want to see the players. They don't want to know about the executive. Maybe Steinbrenner would be the exception, but everybody else know. But it was fun. It was great. Glad we're up here. Guy's a legend. Junior's a legend.
So now, Bob, we're going to meander about and see who we can run into.
Mm-hmm.
And we might be doing some on-the-fly, on-the-spot recordings, interviews. So stay tuned, folks. Uploads are going to keep coming. Hopefully we can get the live streams going again, and we'll be in touch with the Sports Show with Bob Spino. This is the 2020 officially induction ceremony highlighted by Derek Jeter.
Yes.